Like a lot. Fuck. Oh, not mean to play stuff in your door. Like that, you're so bad.
Bro, y'all double team me.
Yo, we're young boy.
I wanna fight young boy.
Did young boy leave?
Bro, hit me on this.
Shut up.
I didn't do nothing. I'm not hacking, dude.
Just good at it.
Bro, just kill him already.
City fought. I wonder he gave him a storm all day. Can I get it? I didn't even do nothing to kill him. They can't eat those shots. Yeah, I'm in a storm.
You're probably still kicking me.
So does that fight?
Get him.
Alright, there you go.
You're dead.
Dang it.
Corey, you did a good job. Thank you.
Sorry, it.
Okay.
Go, baby. What the frick is my enemies?
Shoot up.
I'm idiot as fast as I can. What's wrong with my edits? I thought I was the fastest. I mean, I'm the stairs fast today. Ooh. Well, that's what that roof saved me, though. Oh, there's a flood in me. So much. Hit him with this. Not as bad as free. Right down. Pretty sure I'm wrong.
No! I'm getting food.
Nobody can be
Fuck you, man. Come with the head.
Got him.
Physics.
Okay, come on, yo. You can talk physics. You're talking Spanish.
Marion, you will die.
Fuck.
You will get
Shoot him. He's dead.
Yo, good game. Jumbo, have I got better? I can't see nobody.
I need food.
Yeah, I got it.
Now, just a
Thank you for the launch pad.
2 seconds.
I did.
Just do it. To the head. Follow me.
Won't shoot.
Hey, man.
Guys, stay back. I got her.
Fuck. Shut up. Please shut up. Please, help.
Oh, every time I do this. I hate Fortnite for doing this.
Keep thinking. Fuck you, man. Shut up. It's no.
I'm about to leave here. Just blow my whole lobby.
No. Good shot. 8 HP, bro. 8.
Hey guys, my name is Richard, and I'm 17 years old. I've had a lot of stress this year. I'm graduating from high school, going to college, and getting ready to move to another city. And to add to all of this, recently, a completely crazy thing is happening to me. I'm seeing the ghost of my dead father. I don't remember much about it. When I was 5, we were driving home, Dad lost control, and we crashed. And only me and my mom survived. So instead of having fun childhood memories of my father, I only have a few family photos. Oh, I've often imagined how my life would have been if he were still alive. In my head, he was a great father, caring and strong. It's such a pity that the past can't be changed. The day it happened the first time, I was walking out of school with my friends, and I saw this strange man standing at the bus stop. He was definitely watching us. But after a moment, the bus arrived and I lost sight of him. Then I thought that I had just imagined it. He was wearing a jacket and cap just like my father was one of my photos. But then it happened again. A few days later, I was looking out the window in class when I saw him. And that time, I could see his face. It was my father. I quickly ran out of the classroom, but when I went outside, there was no one there. Where did he go? How did I lose him? No idea. But my mind was electrified, and there were a million thoughts in it. Is my father still alive? Why is he avoiding me? Does my mom know about this? Or is she hiding something from me? I didn't know. I remembered the hospital with my mother, and how the doctors examined us. But I never saw my dad. Then I remembered the deal. Or rather, one important detail about it. The coffin was closed, and I didn't see my dad. You know, I'm paranoid and all, but it made me suspicious. In the evening, I decided to ask my mother about it, but not just point blank. I started by beating around the bush. I said I miss my dad, that I don't have many memories of him. My mother began to tell me different stories about my father, about how they met and how they got married. And when we talked about the accident, I said, you know, there's people that look like him, or that are wearing the same clothes. It makes me miss him so much. It's almost like he's still with us. But these words somehow cut off any nostalgic mood. My mother became worried and began to ask me questions about who I saw. She was definitely anxious, and she was trying to hide it. She said, I'm just worried about you. Childhood trauma, you know? Yeah, trauma. I definitely understood during that conversation that there was a secret, and that she wasn't going to tell it to me. I thought about it for a week. I had myself completely wound up trying to figure out what was going on. And then I saw him again near school. He was standing at a distance, talking on the phone. I was going to run up to him, but when he saw me, he got into a car and drove out of the parking lot. I quickly ran to my car and followed him. We drove straight for a few blocks, took a couple of turns, and at one of the intersections, he hit the gas, ran down the light, and immediately turned onto another street. I was scared, but I hit the gas too. Passing the intersection, I heard a car honking at me from the side, and we almost crashed into each other. I then quickly turned onto the same street, and I saw him just disappear, like in the blink of an eye. I swear, I drove a couple more blocks, but I never saw that car again. I came home feeling bad. I just didn't understand what was going on. I felt tired and just fell on the bed and fell asleep. I woke up to the sound of an alarm clock. It was morning. I sat up on the bed and then froze in surprise. He was sitting just in front of me. My father. He immediately told me to shh. Oh my God. I quickly began asking him about what was going on, but all he said was, hold on a little. We'll tell you everything soon. And then I heard my mother's voice from the downstairs. She was irritated and wanted me to come down. I looked at Dad, and he nodded, so I left the room. My mother was holding a piece of paper in her hand. It was a ticket for me running the red light. I came up with some excuse for my mother and said that I would pay for it, and then ran back to my room. But when I returned, the room was empty. Wow. How did this happen? Dad just disappeared. I decided to trust him and just wait for him to get in touch. But days passed, and it was silence. And then I started to get suspicious again. How much longer did I have to wait? A week? A month? A year? It worried me, and I was angry. Then one day, my mom and I were at the mall shopping. That's when I saw that familiar cap and jacket. My dad was walking with the crowd toward the elevator. I lost my patience and just shouted, Mom, look, there he is! And I started to run in his direction, but he walked faster and went into the elevator. I couldn't catch up with him, so I decided to run upstairs by the escalator. I was on edge, I was running, I was pushing people aside. Then I ran faster and accidentally knocked someone down. And I heard people yelling at me to stop, but I wasn't going to listen to them. I went up to the floor and saw my dad run through the staff door. When I ran inside, I found myself in a long corridor with a bunch of doors and endless turns, like in a maze. I was confused. I didn't know where my dad had turned. At this moment, the mall security guard found me. He told me that I shouldn't be in there, but I was in a panic. I kept saying that my dad was there somewhere. Mom showed up right after this. She was shocked by my actions. And I just started shouting, I saw him! I saw my dad right now! My mom was trying to calm me down. She said that it couldn't be possible, that my dad had died years ago. But I was 100% sure. At that moment, we were all confused. Then the guard said that if there was another person there, they should have been spotted by the security camera. And he agreed to show us the footage. What I saw was beyond my comprehension. The tape clearly shows an empty corridor. Then I run in through the door, just me, and no one else. I was completely taken aback. But how was that possible? Was it some kind of mirage? Or ghost? I didn't know. Mom said that this is a vacation, but because of the stress, he got worse when he was behind the wheel, and he lost control. The doctors said there was a possibility that I might inherit the disease. As a child, I was fine. But now I'm at the age when the disease most often manifests itself. And that's why my mom was worried. That's ironic. I dreamed that Dad was alive when I finally saw him. He was a symptom of a terrible disease. But I'm actually lucky, because it could have been much worse. And I could have hurt someone. Now I have to be treated and take medication. But I'm ready to fight for my life, and I will spare no effort to do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I would love to hear some words of encouragement in the comments below. And also, share this video with your friends.
Hello, I'm Oliver. I'm 15, and something weird happened when I was a kid, and I want you to help me figure it out. Surprisingly, it all started when I watched Breaking Bad. You see, there were a lot of deserts and cars there, and all of that triggered something in me. I felt weird when I was watching it. Some long forgotten memories started to appear in my mind again. Something about a desert, and it was very weird. Then I had this dream for the first time. In my dream, I was very young, like 3 or 4, and I was in the backseat of the car. Outside, I saw a desert, and in the front seat of the car, there were 2 men. They were silent. I was holding a blue horse or pony in my hands. I remember clutching and squeezing it to suppress my fear. I woke up in a cold sweat, squeezing my pillow the same way I did with the horse. I was so scared I couldn't even breathe properly. It was terrifying, and I tried to get right back to sleep. But I ended up staring at the ceiling for an hour before I finally fell asleep. Over the next few days, I was constantly thinking about it because it felt so real. I finally forgot about it. And then I had the same dream again. And then a 3rd and 4th time. So by this point, there was no way I could forget about it or think about anything else except that dream. Who were those men and this weird blue horse? I started to think that maybe, just maybe, it was a real memory that I had forgotten about. I asked my parents about this dream, and Mom was visibly confused. She said that no, nothing like this had ever happened. But my dad was acting really weird. said that nothing like this happened, but he was doodling something on a piece of paper like he always did when he was nervous. He then threw this piece of paper into the trash. Later I picked it up because maybe there was some hints, but no. They were just random doodles. I got extremely suspicious of my dad's reaction because he definitely knew something. In my mind, I already had some horrible theories about what had happened and if my dad was part of it. Mom definitely didn't know anything about it, but she was always such a nervous and panicky person. She thought that maybe I was having some problems because of stress from school, so she took me to see a therapist. The therapist tried to ask me about my stress and studies, but I really didn't want to talk about it because I knew that it was something completely different. I couldn't tell that to my mom, though, because first, I wanted to get the truth directly from my father. When I was alone with my dad, I asked him if he really didn't know anything about this dream. Dad was trying to blow me off by saying that I was just imagining things, but I kept asking if he was hiding the truth because he did something bad to me. Finally, my dad agreed to tell me what happened. It was very hard for him. His voice was wavering and his hands were shaking. When I was 3, I was playing outside with my dad. Mom was working, so it was just him and me. Someone called, so Dad went inside to answer the phone. He was in there talking for about 10-15 minutes, and then he went outside again, and I wasn't there. Dad started to panic and tried to find me, but I vanished. He couldn't understand how a 3-year-old could disappear like that. He asked our neighbors if they had seen me, and they said something about a car coming up to our house. But they didn't see anything except the car. Dad immediately called the police, and they started to search for me. At this point in the story, Dad could barely hold back his tears. It was so difficult for him to talk about. They were searching for me for half an hour, but he said it felt like an eternity. After a while, the policeman found me on a playground a few blocks away from the house. I was crying and holding a blue horse toy in my hands. They then took the toy away for examination. Dad decided not to tell any of this to my mother because she was such a nervous person, it would have ruined her emotionally for months. Dad, without my mom's knowledge, took me to a doctor, and they didn't find any injuries or anything like that. He also tried therapists and psychiatrists to help me remember anything, and of course the policemen were asking me questions, but I was just a 3-year-old and I couldn't remember. In the end, the therapist said that it would be better to not remind me about this incident from that point on. How he did it without my mom finding out, I have no idea. But after a while, we moved to another city. One reason was that Dad found a good job there. But the real reason was to get away from the place where all of this happened. It was hard to believe anyway. I'm not a person who cries a lot, but at this moment, I burst into tears. This was real. I didn't imagine any of it. The car, the horse, the 2 mysterious men, all of it was totally real. Dad just didn't know how he could tell Mom about this incident because it was so crazy, and also Dad's fault because he left me alone, even if it was only for 10 or 15 minutes. I told Dad that he should tell Mom about it because now she was worrying about it anyway. Besides, he shouldn't keep secrets like that. Dad didn't want to, but there was no way around it anymore. When Mom came home and he told her the whole story, she was shaking and her reaction was even stronger than mine. For the next few days, my parents were arguing all the time. Mom was calling Dad a liar, and she suspected that he knew who those men were, and he was somehow a part of it. Dad couldn't take it because he already felt incredibly guilty, and all he could do was shout, "No, no, no, I wasn't." I was so tired of this because it was me who had to deal with the memory and with the dream. I was still having it almost every night. I'd go outside to get a breath of fresh air. I couldn't even remember our old house or this playground, and I was scared, and all my parents did was argue with each other. I went inside and told all of this to my parents. They stopped fighting and decided that we needed to go through it as a family. Dad promised that he would never keep secrets from Mom, and Mom promised she would work on her nervousness. After a month, we decided to go to my hometown for a weekend. We got there, and my dad showed me our old house. And in the end, we went to the playground. When we got there, I got dizzy and could barely stand up. I burst out crying again, and my parents were hugging me the whole time. I didn't remember anything else other than me being at this playground, so the stuff that happened in between was still a mystery. Maybe you can help me to figure it out. What happened? I keep going to therapy, and it honestly helps. I still have this dream, but like once every few months. I also still hope that I will remember what really happened, but mostly I try to move on and just live my life. And my parents' relationship is still weird, but they're working on it. I don't know what will happen in the future, but I wanted to share this story because maybe someone else experienced something similar. What do you think happened? Please.
How do we raise the most revenue for the government with minimal damage to the economy? Economics has an answer. We want the lowest possible marginal rates.
Hi, my name is Penny. I am 15. My story will probably look unbelievable, even shocking, and I'm sure that many of you who will hear it will judge me for what I've done. A few months ago, I reported my own brother to the police. Soon he'll be facing a court hearing. And no, I don't regret what I have done. Like many other stories, mine began with a tragedy in my family. 2 years ago, my father died in an accident, leaving his wife, my mother, alone with 2 children, me and my older brother, Sam. Sam is 3 years older than me, and since that day, he was the only man in our family. We were not rich, even before the accident, and now we got into some significant debt. So my mother had to find a decent job in order to raise her children and to keep her house. My mother's job took almost all of her time, and even though I understand that she was doing everything for Sam and I think it was her mistake that she simply did not pay any attention to us.